How's it going, guys? White Rabbit here. I can't remember the last time I was so happy to have been proven wrong. As many of you may or may not know, a couple of years ago or so, I made a prediction of sorts, or at least I hinted at in a video, that the next president of the United States would probably be a woman. As time went on, that prediction naturally kind of evolved into predicting that the next president would be Hillary Clinton. And as I've described in previous videos, a lot of that was due to the public programming, basically, all throughout media, that seemed to be pointing in that direction. Now, once Donald Trump threw his hat into the ring, I kind of added on to that prediction in that Donald Trump was colluding with the Clinton campaign in an attempt to strengthen Clinton's appeal. The Clintons actually have a history with the Trumps, and so at the time it didn't seem like it was that far of a stretch. I think the last video I posted on this channel, I was talking about YouTubers coming out and basically insisting that their audience go vote for Hillary Clinton. Part of the reason that I have not been uploading videos is because I have been so focused on every detail of this political course that America has taken. I have been evaluating just about every source I could get my hands on. I have examined the mainstream media outlets. I've examined self-proclaimed truther outlets. I've heard from supporters of the Green Party, constitutionalists, etc., etc. And really the reason for that was to get a whole rounded idea of everyone's perspectives to try and kind of navigate my way through all of this and try to get to the truth. In doing all that, I came to realize that I do truly believe that Trump, at least on some level, is authentic in his campaign for the presidency. Now, be mindful, that is not to say that I automatically think he's going to be a great president, yada, yada, yada. But it does speak volumes when coupled with how negative the publicity surrounding his campaign has been. If we are to believe, as I very much do, that the elite, by and large, control the major media outlets and most of Hollywood, to assume that they would not use those avenues to demean and discredit anyone who threatened the status quo, well, I think to assume that would just be foolish. Now, if you also factor into the equation that this campaign got very nasty, and a lot of that was from Trump, and Trump was bringing up a lot of ancient history that surrounded the Clintons that really you wouldn't expect it to get to quite that level had it been all for show. Anyway, there were a lot of things that kind of coalesced into me coming to the conclusion that basically Trump was sincere in his effort to seek the Oval Office. At that point, I began to listen to the man's message, not what necessarily the media said his message was, but listening to his actual rallies. I watched all of the debates twice. I listened to, I don't know, maybe 15 of his entire rally speeches. And there were several things that I disagree with that Donald Trump supports. But to me, they were much smaller issues than... They weren't huge issues, or they were issues that I didn't think he was going to really enact on anyway. I think Trump is a money man. I think he cares about the economy, and he cares about foreign policy. I don't really think he gives a you-know-what about, social justice issues, or, things like legalizing marijuana, or gay rights issues, or Roe v. Wade, or any of those things. I really don't think he cares. And so whatever he says publicly about those things, you can kind of take with a grain of salt. And with the exception of Roe v. Wade, I really don't care that much either, to be honest with you. I think a lot of those things are moral issues more than issues that need to be enforced by the government anyway. So anyway, I'm kind of rambling here, but the point is, over time throughout this election, I have kind of seen myself gravitate more towards Donald Trump, to a point where I did something I did not think I was going to do, and that is I actually voted for Donald Trump. I think the reason that I wanted to make this video, and the reason I wanted to kind of explain these things, is that, it's important that we don't lose sight of what is possible. Sometimes we get so wrapped up and involved in all of these conspiracies, and we get consumed by the negative to such a degree that we feel as though there's no hope. And we feel as though the system is so incredibly rigged that no matter what we do, we can never resolve these issues peacefully. And I think that what is so great about this election is that, if nothing else, even if Trump turns out to be a mediocre president, it proves, at least to me, that a person's vote does matter, at least to some degree. And that public persuasion can have a real effect on certain outcomes. Now, normally we get faced with two candidates who are essentially mirror images of each other. I mean, in 2012 you had basically Obamacare versus Romneycare, etc., etc. And I think that this election we actually had a choice. Now, whether or not that was the choice that people necessarily wanted, that's debatable, but we had a choice nonetheless. I did not see this coming. I hoped it would. But to be perfectly honest, I really was convinced that the system was rigged, and that there was just no way that Trump was going to win. And so for me, seeing this outcome has really restored my faith in the American system. Now, we have a lot of problems in America. There are a lot of things that need to be fixed, a lot of things that need to be addressed. And Trump did still lose the majority. He won the electoral college, but he lost the popular vote by a slim margin. So this is still an upward battle. I mean, the sheer fact that almost 60 million people would even consider voting for Hillary Clinton is asinine to me. But again, at least we are seeing that there are measures in place to safeguard the republic. Safeguards that apparently have merit, at least to some degree. So, I know this wasn't I know I was kind of rambling in this video, but I just kind of wanted to explain a lot of that. I've come a long way over the past few months just from kind of taking a step back from all of this other research and really kind of taking a microcosm look at one topic, being the election, and how all of these other sources were portraying it. And to be honest, I've come to realize that there's a lot more shades of gray than we may have previously assumed. And if there's one thing that I want you all to take away from this election, it would be that things aren't always black and white, you know. We may see somebody who pushes, you know, people have different motives, and it's not always because they've sold out to the establishment or they've sold out to the powers that be. Some people just have different things that motivate them. You know, a lot of people, especially in the independent media realm, do things that seem lowbrow, I would say. And a lot of those people are just doing it to get views so that they can keep the lights on, so that they can keep going. And in some degree, you can't really blame them for that. Especially when it comes, when something as important as this comes along, and we're grateful that we have those sources. Anyway, I think I'm running out of things to talk about here, so I'm just going to end the video there. Like I said, I just wanted to check in with y'all, let you know what all was going on, and hopefully this video wasn't too dry. I don't think I'm going to edit it very much. Just going to throw it up there, and yeah, so okay guys, I will be back at some point making videos more regularly. So don't count me out just yet. I'll be back with full force in no time. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Thanks, and God bless.